Hey good people, this is Minawa from MinawaTube, and today we're going to talk about Bali versus Thailand, which is easier to enter at the moment. So in case you want to go to Bali or you want to come here to Thailand, which is easier to enter the country, as you know that we're still going through the pandemic and everything like that. So these countries have reopened, but which is easier to enter? So let's start the video right now. Okay, let's start first with Bali. So Bali has reopened now. People can get into the country. But does that mean that you can just take a flight and go to Bali right away? That's not possible whatsoever. And does that mean that you can get a tourist visa from Indonesian embassy abroad? No, that's not possible too. So what does that mean? How can you enter Bali at the moment? So nowadays, some people who have that special cases, like say for example, diplomats with diplomat visa, people who are there doing certain jobs, special jobs that get special kind of visa, people there who have a temporary stay, people who have permanent stay. So it depends on their kind of visa, and those kind of visas are not visas that anybody can have, and it's not something that you can work on in a very short time, just only to go and visit Bali or to stay there for a short time. No, there are visas that special people have. So how can you, a normal person who just want to go and enjoy Bali, whether for tourism, whether for honeymoon, whether to just like go surfing and just get away from everything? So how can you go to Bali? Number one, there is an e-visa. This e-visa would allow you to enter the country. So the best option at the moment is the e-visa. The e-visa is a visa that you can apply for online, but you can, let's say, check out agencies. There's a lot of Balinese agencies that do for you the visa. But what's the little information that you need to know about this visa? This e-visa, you can apply for it online, but you have to fulfill certain requirements. E-visa is usually given to digital nomads, people who are going there to stay in Bali for a long term. So it's not a tourist visa, but it's for people who are going there as digital nomads. They want to work there and just live in Bali. So, number one, for the requirements, you have to, of course, fill up an application. You have to send a passport copy. All this, you'll put it online. And, of course, you have to also have pay $400 as a fee for that e-visa. And you have to also have a travel insurance, and you have to show them your bank statement. So when you fulfill all these requirements and you upload it to the system there, they will check it, and it will take about 7 days for them to approve for you your e-visa. It's not hard. Like most of the people would get that visa if they fulfill all the requirements, but there is a little, of course, thing you need to know about this visa. Not all countries can get this visa, by the way. So countries that have the different strain or the third strain, I don't know anymore what kind of strain it is anymore, of the coronavirus, they're not allowed to get that e-visa. For example, countries like the UK, for example, Brazil, South Africa, you won't be able to get this e-visa. So usually these e-visa are given to the countries which are with the least risk to the Indonesian people. Now, can you take a flight directly to Bali after you get this e-visa? No, you have to go to Indonesia, to Jakarta, the capital, and from the capital there you can take an internal flight to Bali. That's something you have to go through. Now going to Indonesia is not very hard after you get the e-visa. You just have to come with a negative test that shows that you're negative, you don't have the virus whatsoever. They're gonna check you in the airport anyway. If you come out positive, they will force you to stay in a government quarantine and you will have to pay it for 14 days. But if you come, you have the negative result and they check you there in the airport, you're negative, they will just advise you to stay in a 7-day personal isolation kind of quarantine. So you just by on your own, maybe you're staying in a hotel or you're staying in a rented apartment, you just go and lock yourself out for 7 days. Just go out for the very important things, and that's it. And if you can use any kind of the services that can bring for you things at home, that's even better. So it's not totally impossible to go to Bali. You can just get this e-visa, or you can get the other visa that I talked about in another video, which is called the social business visa. You can also get that, but that one maybe needs a little bit more requirement. But the e-visa is totally not very hard. The most important thing about it is you have to show that you have money, enough money, and you have to pay $400, which is a bit of a hefty amount for a visa. So that's when it comes to Bali. So now when it comes to Thailand, there are much more requirements needed from you to enter Thailand. I've talked about this in a previous video. You can go and check it out. I'm giving you, I gave you there in details exactly what you need to enter Thailand. But let me give you a brief about it. Number one, you have to get your tourist visa from the any Thai embassy or consulate abroad. You have to, of course, have insurance for not less than $100,000. You have to book a quarantine. You have to book a ticket, of course, same dates, of course. And after that, you get the certificate of entrance. After you get the certificate of entrance, you have to have a test of coronavirus not less than 72 hours before arriving to Thailand, and then you have to get a medical certificate that you're fit to fly. When you get that medical certificate, then you're good to go. You can come to Thailand. As soon as you land here in Thailand, you'll be taken directly to the quarantine, and you have to stay there for 14 days. Now this is changing. Starting from next month, March 2021, there will be people who are treated, especially the people who have already vaccinated, who already have taken the vaccine. They would stay for 7 days. Not everybody. I'm going to make a video in detail explaining exactly what's going to happen for those people. So after you get out of the quarantine, then you are free to move around Thailand. So that is the requirement. Those are the requirements for Thailand. So requirements for Bali, you can't get a tourist visa, but you can get an e-visa or social and business visa, and you can apply for it online. And there are very little requirements, but of course the visa is expensive, $400. And Thailand, you have much more requirements, and it's much more expensive because you have to pay for quarantine. Whether you are you have the virus or you don't have the virus, you have to pay for 14-day quarantine. So does that mean that, okay, now you can just say, okay, I'm going to choose to go to Bali because it's simpler, or I'm going to choose to go to Thailand because of any other reason? There is more to it, guys. So I have some friends, of course, in Bali, and they tell me how is it there. And I live here in Thailand, so I know how is it here. So when it comes to Bali, it's easier to get there. Maybe in 7 days you can get all you need, so you can go to Bali. You go to Indonesia, Jakarta, and from Jakarta you take a internal flight and you go to Bali, and then you go to go and do whatever you want there in Bali. But there is a lot of restriction and let's say policies that are constraining in Bali. Most of the places have to shut down by 9 p.m. So you find a lot of places closed, especially places that you like to go and hang out there with your friends. The beaches are kind of deserted, and it's not as fun maybe as you are used to. So you will have a lot of restrictions there. Also, even like one of the examples, riding a bike, you have to wear a mask in Bali. If you don't wear a mask in Bali, traffic police or any kind of police is gonna stop you, and they're gonna either fine you or they're gonna tell you to do some kind of push-ups or something like that. So yeah, it's a little bit restrictive. They're very, very, very serious about implementing let's say precaution rules, so people don't get infected and everything, which is a good thing. I'm not saying anything about that. But when it comes to Thailand, now if you want to come to Thailand, you will go through a lot, of course. When it comes to requirement, you will pay a lot of money for everything. But the positive thing, after you're done with your quarantine, you are free. Thailand is considered a country which managed to control the virus pretty early, and they're very good at it. So you can actually, when you get out of the quarantine, go to whatever city you want. Things are open until any time. Like there's no restrictive time, as it's up to the business how long they want to open. Yes, of course, there's a restriction of you have to wear a mask in most public places, and of course, there's some other minimal restriction for some kind of places. For example, if you go to a hospital or something, spacing and stuff like that. But generally, you're totally living a normal life here. So you won't have a lot of restrictions. You can travel as you like. You can stay out as much as you like. And you can move around as much as you like. You're not going to be fined for anything. Now, the thing is, like, when you come to Thailand here, you will have all those options open for you. How long would you be able to stay? You might say, okay, I'll stay in quarantine 14 days and then my visa is almost done and stuff like that. But Thailand has this option that you can extend your visa while you're here in Thailand. You don't need to go to Laos, you don't need to go to the neighboring countries and get another visa and come back, because that means another 14 days again. So you can extend it for another 60 days, and then you continue doing that every time it ends. you extend for another 60 days, another 60 days. So technically you're paying for a tourist visa, you're staying here as a tourist and everything. But if you want to stay longer, you just have to have a legitimate reason, and then you go to the immigration and you pay 1,900 baht, which is around 51 $52, and then you are free to stay here for another 2 months. No quarantine, nothing, of course, because you're already in the country. So according to my personal opinion, I would say that coming to Thailand is worth the hustle, because you're free to go around Thailand, you're less restriction on you, everything is open. But going to Bali, it's a bit tricky when it comes to that. So you would have to a little bit adjust to the situation, unless you have some Balinese friends or some other expat friends who are there, who can make for you the atmosphere normal, or you're going there for honeymoon, so you don't really care about anything else. You can just enjoy your time at your resort or something like that. So generally Bali is a little bit more restrictive, so that's why I would prefer to go to Thailand. But that's all up to you. The most important thing that both of them are possible now. You can enter both countries. One of them is straightforward, you can enter as a tourist, and the other one is not straightforward. You can enter with an e-visa, or you can enter with a social or business visa, and you have to fulfill all the requirements. And of course you can stay long term there with any kind of those visas. Thank you for watching, guys. If you like this video, please press the like button and subscribe to my channel down below, because I really need subscribers, guys. So if my videos are useful to you, subscribe to the channel and comment down below in case you have any questions or I forgot to mention something. Please comment down below, let me know. And thank you again very much for watching. I will see you in the next video, where I'll give you a little bit more details about the new requirements for entering Thailand, which is positive news. There is a little bit of easing of the requirements. So see you next time.